farmlands.
Beneath the trembling skies of Sumy Oblast, a quiet revolution burns through the soil. There are no grand parades or celebratory speeches here. Only grit, resolve, and the thud of artillery echoing across farmlands. This is where Ukraine is redrawing the map, not with ink, but with resistance. It was early June when Russia struck anew. Like a fist uncoiling across the northeastern border, troops poured into border villages, Kindrativka, Popivka, and a dozen more. Capturing them in a push meant not merely to seize land, but to rewrite the very premise of Ukraine's territorial integrity. Behind the assault stood a chilling doctrine: President Vladimir Putin's declaration in May that Russia would create a security buffer zone, a phrase that masked aggression beneath the sheen of defense. Sumy Oblast became the canvas for that ambition, an attempt to carve a new frontier in the ashes of sovereignty. But buffer zones are only effective when the buffer agrees to be buffered, and Ukraine, scarred and unyielding, did not. Inside command bunkers, beneath layers of fortification, Ukraine's military leaders knew what was coming. President Volodymyr Zelensky sounded the alarm, a 50,000-strong Russian force massing just over the border. Commander-in-Chief Alexander Syrsky moved quickly, recalibrating defenses, pinning down enemy formations, and shuffling units across volatile zones like chess pieces in a game where the board itself was shifting. Their counter-strategy was not flashy. It didn't need to be. It was deliberate, tactical, waged by soldiers who knew the terrain intimately, who understood that the rivers, forests, and ragged dirt roads of Sumy could serve not only as obstacles but as weapons. On July 25th, the tide turned. Deep State, a battlefield analysis group known for surgically precise reporting, confirmed the liberation of Kindrativka, a border village snatched back from Russian control. It was a small victory in terms of acreage, but symbolically, it punched a hole straight through Moscow's narrative of inevitable advance. Zelensky's words on July 26th carried a rare blend of gratitude and defiance. Although this region remains one of the priority areas for the enemy, he said, our forces consistently block Russian attempts to advance deeper into Sumy Oblast. Our active actions continue, and I am grateful to each unit that is gradually pushing the Russian forces out. Behind those sentences lies a labyrinth of real lives, troops sleeping under camouflage nets, medics stabilizing the wounded in makeshift clinics, and villagers eking out survival amid craters where gardens once bloomed. For the people of Sumy, resistance is not merely military. It's personal. It's generational. Every reclaimed street carries the echo of someone who refused to leave. They shelled our town in the morning, says Petro, a retired bus driver who now delivers water to frontline troops. By afternoon, my grandson was mixing sandbags with the neighbors. That's how we fight. We don't wait. We hold. In interviews with locals and military commanders alike, a theme emerges. Not of desperate survival, but of quiet defiance. Sumy isn't waiting to be saved. It's writing its own chapter, even as Russian artillery aims to erase every sentence. Military analysts have noticed a pattern in Russia's approach: rapid incursions followed by logistical bottlenecks. Sumy's geography, dense woods, winding rivers, fragmented road systems, acts as a natural brake on mechanized forces. Ukrainian defenders exploit this with near-surgical precision, drawing Russian units into vulnerable choke points, then striking with coordinated artillery and drone operations. The stalled advance isn't just battlefield friction, it's strategic erosion. What began as a bold thrust has devolved into disjointed skirmishes. Russian troops are now reported to be entrenched without clear objectives, vulnerable to flanking and cut off from critical resupply routes. In contrast, Ukrainian forces have begun executing fluid movements, retake, hold, reinforce, that mirror textbook counterinsurgency. The deeper message of Sumy isn't found only in maps or military briefings. It's in the way the war reshapes identity. Villagers who once farmed potatoes now send encrypted radio coordinates. School teachers lead underground shelters. A local priest broadcasts morale messages over shortwave radio, his voice threaded between static and hope. And above it all, the question looms: what does Russia truly want? Was the buffer zone a strategic necessity, or a rhetorical smokescreen to mask a wider campaign of territorial absorption? If Putin hoped to bleed Ukraine into exhaustion, Sumy stands as proof that blood doesn't always translate into submission. Ukraine bleeds, but it does not bow. In the coming weeks, eyes will remain fixed on this narrow stretch of contested land. The global press may turn elsewhere, chasing headlines and shifting flashpoints. But the fate of Sumy holds something far more enduring, a glimpse into what happens when a nation refuses to fold. It is here, on these rugged fields, and in the hearts of these weary families, that Ukraine redraws the line once more. Not one etched by conquest, but forged in defiance.